Okay, here we are ready for another segment in our study on Revelation, and today we're going to have a very high-level bird's eye view of the Revelation. I see the Revelation as divided into 7 parallel sections. First, I'll just list what those are so you get a sense of that, and I'll give you the range of chapters and that comprise each of them. So the first section is the letters to the churches and the Lord Jesus among the lampstands, Revelation 1:1 through 3:22. And this one, in some ways, is a little bit different because it is letters to actual churches that existed at the time, but because it's applicable to the church across all of history, it also fits this model because it speaks to all of the assemblies across all the different time frames from the first coming of Christ to his second. The second section is that John is given a vision of heaven and we're shown the scroll and 7 seals. And this is Revelation 4:1 through 7:17. Then we encounter the 7 trumpets, and that's Revelation 8:1 through 11:19. And then the dragon persecuting the woman and her man-child in Revelation 12:1 through 14:20. Then we get to the 7 bowls, Revelation 15:1 through 16:21, and the fall of Babylon, this is number 6, Revelation 17:1 through 19:21. And then finally in section 7, the final overthrow of the enemy, the judgment, the new heaven and new earth. And that's in Revelation 20, verse 1 through 22:21, which is the end of the book. Now I say that these are parallel sections because as I understand the Revelation, it communicates the story of Christ from his first appearing to his second coming in 7 different ways, or from 7 different perspectives. To me, this is similar to the way the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, present the earthly life of the Lord Jesus. Each of them highlights some things the others do not, yet all of them communicate the same truth. I think that's what we're going to find in the Revelation as well. Now, you've probably already observed that the number 7 comes up fairly frequently in the Revelation. 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls, and more. In the Bible, 7 signifies completion. In 7 days, God created the heaven and the earth. The Lord chose 7 churches to receive his letters, and this helps us understand that these letters, while certainly addressed to specific fellowships of believers, have a message for the whole church in every time until he returns. And we'll see this sort of symbolism throughout our study. Now, there are many examples of numbers that recur. Some are more obvious than others. Supporting my view about the 7 parallel sections, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on that over the next several segments, by the way, so this is not by any means comprehensive, but supporting my view that there are 7 parallel sections to the Revelation is one of these recurring numbers that's not so obvious. As we'll see in the 3rd section, chapters 8 through 11, the main period of time discussed is 42 months, according to chapter 11, verse 2, or 1,260 days, according to chapter 11, verse 3. We find this again in section 4, chapters 12 through 14. In chapter 12, verse 6, that speaks of 1,260 days. And then in 12:14, we read of a time, times, and half a time, which is 3.5 years, or 1,260 days, or 42 months. Now, some of you all are going to do the math on this. And if you do the math on this by calculating the number of days in 3.5 365-day years, you'll discover that there are 1,277 days. The discrepancy occurs because we're using the Gregorian calendar rather than the Jewish calendar. The Jewish calendar has 12 30-day months. And 12 times 30 is 360 days per year. 360 times 3.5 is 1,260 days. And that's 42 of those months, 42 times 30 is 1,260 days. Inner consistency of this type, I think, is strong evidence for the sections of the Revelation covering the same time frame. Now, having presented this idea in very brief overview, in the next segment, we'll begin to look at additional evidence that has brought me to view the Revelation as I do. And what we're going to do here is I'll look into each of these sections and discuss a little bit more why it is that I've drawn the conclusion, which I'm not alone in this, but that I've drawn the conclusion that that this is 7 pictures of the same thing from different points of view or different perspectives. Well, grace and peace to you until we see you again.